Now let's kick things off with some introductions. My name is Evan Mimms, and I'll be your moderator today. I'd like to give our speakers a moment to introduce themselves. We have Jackie Rodgers, Toni Tabor, and Kirk Hendrickson here. I'll hand it over to each of you for a quick introduction. Let's start with Jackie, go to Toni, and Kirk.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Jackie Rodgers, and I am the city clerk for the city of North Las Vegas. And it is certainly a pleasure to be here with all of you and to help be a participant and hopefully to be able to answer some of your questions. I am, and our organization is a Wordly user, and I'm happy to be here.
Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Toni Tabor. I'm the city clerk for the city of San Jose. We're a population of about 1 million. I'm very excited to be here and share our experiences using artificial intelligence interpretation in our city council and council committee meetings. And I hope I can answer your questions and that you can learn something from our experience.
Hi, and my name is Kirk Hendrickson. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and one of the co-founders of Wordly. I've had the delightful pleasure to work with both Jackie and Toni as they have implemented Wordly in North Las Vegas and San Jose, respectively. And I am happy to be able to speak with you today about how Wordly is helping their communities and others be able to bridge the language barriers and provide greater language access.
Well, thanks all for the introductions. Now a little history on Wordly from Kirk.
So as I mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders of Wordly. We began in 2019. Back in 2019, this was before everyone was talking about AI and ChatGPT. That's when we launched the company, where we went commercial live in 2019. Since that time, in the ensuing 6 years, we've had over 4 million people be users of the Wordly system, conducting over 100,000 Wordly sessions with us for over 600 million minutes of translation. With Wordly, you're able to receive high quality, real-time, simultaneous translation and transcription, 100% using artificial intelligence. It's easy to use and provides you the ability to access over 60 different languages simultaneously. Now, as you might be seeing right now, you are able to read along with Wordly. Hopefully everybody's taking a chance to read along, but you also have the option to listen along. So with Wordly, you can both read and listen in any of those languages. So as a result, Wordly is here to provide greater language access to all of those different languages.
Thanks, Kirk. Before we get started with specific use cases, I'd like to touch on some broader challenges we're all addressing, which is ensuring language accessibility in our communities. So from recent US Census data, nearly 68 million people in the US speak a language other than English at home. Thus, there are federal frameworks in place, such as Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, Executive Order 13166, and Title II of the ADA, which all mandate effective communication and meaningful access to individuals with both limited English proficiency or disabilities. It's important to note that there are more regulations and they vary by state, city, and local municipalities. There are also a plethora of laws and regulations abroad, but we'll save that discussion for another time. Language accessibility isn't just a legal requirement anymore, it's really essential for serving our nation's diverse population. Now, to illustrate how these challenges are being addressed in practice, I'd like to hand it over to Jackie from the city of North Las Vegas. Jackie, could you share some of the challenges and solutions you've worked through with language accessibility in your community?
Yes, of course, happy to share. So we are a population of approximately 245,000 residents, and a good majority of, well, not majority, but slimly so, a good number of our residents, specifically approximately 42%, speak a language other than English in their home, with the predominant language being Spanish. And so the city clerk's office was tasked to find a way of bridging the language gap, giving access to those that speak a language other than English to their local government, meaning the city council and leadership of the city wanted to invite participation of government to all of our residents and not allow language to be a barrier. So then the search was on as to how we would accomplish that. Was that by hiring individuals to serve as translators, or what exactly it looked like? In the process of studying that, we came across Wordly. And Wordly was very intriguing in that, based on our initial research, it was an investment of I'll say it, a minor amount of money, and it didn't require very much equipment, and it provided access to multiple languages, not limiting us to a few languages. And so through that process, we began discussions with Wordly to see exactly what all they could do. And then kind of the rest is history from there, because we are very happy with the selection of Wordly. But that is how our journey began. And that was the challenge.
Thank you, Jackie. That was very insightful. And to illustrate some of this, we have some of the results on our screen. So Jackie, would you want to get into, how your users use Wordly, and then how you promoted and educated users?
Sure. Once we implemented Wordly, we began what is called a soft launch. And that was, we kind of used it internally we used it for our meetings, not just city council meetings. We used it and continue to use it for all our boards, commissions, and committees. And we have approximately 14 boards, commissions, and committees. And we used it without really notifying the public that we had it, because we wanted to work out whatever kinks or problems that there were. And it was just really more of a communication thing, working with Wordly, so that we strengthened our skill at using it and became more comfortable with using it. And as a result, we got past the initial processes and developed more and more processes, and trained staff, so that we had people with knowledge on how to use it, multiple people. And then we set up our hard launch, which was where we engaged the community, invited participation of the community to come in and to utilize Wordly and engage with the council members. And we invited Wordly representatives so that they can come and see the fruits of their effort, along with the efforts of our city to engage our community and invite their participation. And it was very telling in regard to how our public reacted. Our citizenry was very excited and tested the system throughout our launch, and engaged with the council members. It was thrilling to see how excited our community was, and which, of course, pleases our council and pleases us as well.
Well, thank you, Jackie, for that great overview. Now let's go ahead and move on to San Jose. Toni, could you walk us through how the city of San Jose has implemented AI translation to overcome similar challenges?
Yes. So in the city of San Jose, we have a population of a little under 1 million. We're a very diverse city, even by California standards. Only 41% of the population are English language only speakers. About 21% speak Spanish, and 26% speak a variety of Asian languages, including Vietnamese, Tagalog, Mandarin, among others. So in 2023, we had started in-person interpreters at all of our council meetings. But sometimes we would need to move the Spanish-speaking residents to a separate room to access that interpretation, which was not a good look, because it looked like we were segregating out a population based on their language. When we had in-person interpreters, we had to have 2 for every language because they need to be able to give each other breaks. So we routinely would have 2 Spanish interpreters, 2 Vietnamese interpreters, and then 2 people to check out the headsets to all of those people and to manage all of the headsets. So we were paying for, 6 people per meeting to provide interpretation in only 2 languages. And that was pretty expensive. That was about $350,000 for 1 year worth of interpretation in only 2 languages. And I think we go to the next slide. So we had heard about Wordly. I talked with some language access experts. I'm not an expert in language access. I know that people can have concerns of does the population have the technology to access their interpretation? And the language access experts I talked with said, yes, most people have smartphones. Most people, they go out into the community during COVID, where they were providing services to people, and said almost everybody has some sort of smartphone. So don't worry about that. So we went ahead and did an RFP. Wordly was the number 1 choice, and we partnered with them to do the real-time AI translations during the public meetings. So the best part was it was a huge cost savings. We went from 317,000, I think was our final bill for 1 fiscal year. I can't remember the exact amount we're spending on Wordly, but I think it's in the realm of 80,000. We have a lot of meetings. We have council meetings every single week. They start at 1:30. They typically last until at least 6 o'clock in the evening, sometimes later. So that was also an issue with our in-person interpreters, was we never quite knew when our meeting was going to end. So we might book them till 8 and then the meeting ends at 6, or we book them until 8 and the meeting ends at 10. And they have to leave at 8 because that's what they were booked for. And then they would have to scramble to find a replacement who could come in at 8. So it was like a huge stressor for us to make sure we had people in person. I don't need to worry about that with Wordly. I have over 60 languages. I don't need to worry about a last minute request for a language like, say, Tamil, because Wordly is going to cover that for me. It increases the ability of, like, the public now knows I can come into a council meeting. I can participate in any language I want to. The more we've done this, the more people we see attending the meetings, viewing the videos, because we're able to use one of the Spanish language to feed it to a YouTube channel. So now we have an English channel and a Spanish channel on YouTube. And that's where we went from 0 viewers, because we didn't have a Spanish language channel, to, I think we had 800 at one of our high interest meetings viewing the Spanish channel. So it's a huge increase from basically 0 to 800 viewing a Spanish language channel. We didn't realize there was even a market for that or a need for that. Like, we're as open as we want to be with people. It's just one of those things we didn't think about. And what we also like about Wordly is we can customize that glossary. So, like, we have an organization in San Jose called Luna, and it's, I think, Latinos United, I think maybe North America. I don't know exactly what it stands for, but it's Luna. I can teach Wordly to never translate Luna into the word moon, because I know when people are going to talk about Luna in San Jose, 99% of the time, they're not talking about the moon. So I like that I can kind of train the glossary with our local terms and our local organizations, the spellings of names. So, like, our mayor is Matt Mahan. I can make sure when it pops up there, it's always going to be spelled the correct way. So I do like that it gives us a lot of flexibility. Another part that we really liked about Wordly is it's apolitical. we don't have to worry about the perception of bias in interpretations, because it's artificial intelligence. It has no emotions about it. It's just going to translate what people say. And the beautiful thing is when we're watching the transcripts, is to watch it sort of fix itself as it gets the context of what they're saying. So it's not a just word for word translation. It understands what people are trying to say, and it interprets it correctly, which is so cool and so exciting. And I'm like, even if I'm not interpreting for anybody, it makes preparing the minutes so much easier to have. Like, sometimes I can't understand what somebody said, but Wordly understood what they said. So it's awesome. I'm a huge fan. Sorry, I start to gush, and I'll start to ramble about Wordly because it's one of my favorite products ever. So I really do like being able to fix it, not fix it, but, and then we would have complaints from some of our council members who speak other languages that our interpreters, they felt weren't being super accurate. I don't need to worry about that with Wordly. As I said, no emotion. It's just interpreting what people say. The council member can't say, oh, they're spinning it to be like against this project or to be for this project. There's no spin. So far, the public has been pretty receptive. I meet quarterly with a group of organizations that go out into the community to get their feedback on how I'm serving the public. Is there anything their communities need to have better access into our city government? Because the goal of the city clerk's office is to make sure the public can access their government. And the response so far has been positive with Wordly. I'll say cautiously positive because I think people have a tendency to be like a little bit afraid. But in the council meetings, I love that people can just talk. They don't need to worry about if the interpreter's there. They don't have to stop and let somebody interpret them. You can just let your ideas flow. A lot of times, somebody will be there and an in-person interpreter will stop them so they can interpret what they've said. And it kind of throws off the speaker. Wordly doesn't do that. They can just talk. It's awesome.